great day, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Lionel Richie is an American vocalist, lyricist, multi-instrumentalist, record maker, and TV character. He rose to notoriety during the 1970s as a lyricist and the co-lead artist of the M-Town Bunch Commodore, composing and recording the hit singles Simple Sailin' multiple times, Woman. Yet when he was with The Gathering before his takeoff during his performance profession, Lionel Richie became one of the best singers of the 1980s and has sold north of 100 million records overall, making him one of the world's smash hit craftsmen ever. He's won 4 Grammy Grants, including Tune of the Year for We Are the World and Collection of the Year for Can't Dial Back His Melody. Interminable Love was named for a Foundation Grant, while Say You Say Me won both the Institute Grant and the Brilliant Globe Grant. For Best Unique Tune in 2016, Lionel Richie got the Musician's Corridor of Acclaim's most elevated honor, the Johnny Mercer Grant. In 2022, he got the Gershwin Prize for Famous Melody from the Library of Congress, as well as the American Music Grant's Symbol Grant. He was likewise enlisted into the Dark Music and Diversion Stroll of Distinction and the Rowdy Corridor of Popularity. In 2022, Lionel Richie has an expected total asset of $230 million from Lionel Richie's initial life. Lionel Brockman Richie Jr. was brought into the world on June 20, 1949, in Tuskegee, Alabama. He's the child of Lionel Brockman Richie, a U.S. Armed Forces frameworks expert who was brought into the world in 1915 and kicked the bucket in 1990, and Alberta E.R. Encourage, an educator and school head who was brought into the world in 1970 and passed on in 2001. His grandma Adelaide Mary Brown was a piano player who played old-style music. Lionel Richie experienced childhood on the grounds of Tuskegee Establishment. Their family home was given to his grandparents as a gift from Booker T. Washington. He moved on from Joliet Town Municipality Secondary School, East Grounds in Joliet, Illinois. Lionel Richie acknowledged a tennis grant to go to Tuskegee Establishment, where he was an individual from the Walking Band, the Walking Red Flautists, and graduated with a 4-year education in science degree in financial matters with a minor in bookkeeping. He considered concentrating on divine nature to turn into a minister in the Episcopal Church, where he had been purified through water. In any case, it was concluded that he was not cleric material and had chosen to proceed with his melodic vocation in spite of not knowing how to peruse or compose music. Lionel Richie is an individual from Kappa Kappa K, a public honor society for musicians, and a functioning life individual from the Alpha Club. He is 5'10" in tall or 1.8 em tall. About Lionel Richie's own life on October 18, 1975. Lionel Richie wedded his school darling Brenda Harvey. In 1983, the couple casually embraced Nicole Camille Isav, the 2-year-old little girl of an individual from Lionel's band, who is likewise the niece of drummer Sheila. The Richies brought up Nicole as their little girl and taken on her lawfully when she was 9 years of age, and presently she's named Nicole Richie. In June 1988, Brenda Harvey was captured and accused of corporal injury to a life partner opposing capture, intruding defacement battery, and upsetting the harmony after she tracked down Lionel Richie at Diane Alexander's Beverly Slopes loft. On August 9, 1993, Lionel and Brenda separated from after almost 18 years of marriage. On December 21, 1995, Lionel Richie wedded Diane Alexander, and they have a child, Miles Brockman Richie, who was brought into the world in 1994, and furthermore, a girl, Sophia Richie, who was brought into the world in 1998. The marriage finished in 2004. Lionel Richie experienced delayed throat issues and had a medical procedure multiple times in 4 years prior to being let by customary specialists know that he could lose his singing vocation. He then, at that point, went to an all-encompassing specialist who said the issue was essentially heartburn brought about by food varieties he was eating prior to hitting the sack. In 2008, Lionel Richie turned into a granddad when his embraced little girl Nicole Richie brought forth a child young lady with Joel Chafe, who's a lead vocalist of the musical Gang Great Charlotte. His subsequent grandkid was brought into the world to the couple in 2009. Richie assisted with raising more than $3.1 million for the Bosom Malignant Growth Exploration Establishment. He let the group know that his grandma was determined to have bosom disease in her ADS, however, that she may do, and lived until she was 103 years of age. He expressed that she was his getting through image of expectation and his justification behind turning into a bosom disease dissident. Lionel Richie is a Freemason. About Lionel Richie's expert vocation during the 1960s. As an understudy in Tuskegee, Lionel Richie framed a progression of R&B bunches. In 1968, he turned into a vocalist and saxophonist with the Commodore. They marked a key contract with Atlantic Records in 1968 for one record prior to continuing on toward M-Town Records, at first as a help act to the Jackson 5. The Commodore then became laid out as a well-known soul bunch. Their initial A Few collections had a danceable crowd Z sound, as in such tracks as Assault Rifle and Blockhouse. Over the long run, Lionel Richie composed and sang more heartfelt, simple listening numbers. For example, Simple Multiple Times a Woman Still, and the separation melody Sailon in 1974. He accomplished his most memorable first business accomplishment as a musician with Blissful Individuals, which he co-composed with Jeffrey Bowen and Daniel Baldwin, initially planned as a Commodore track. It was recorded by the Enticements, who had their main R&B hit with the melody by the last part of the 1970s. Lionel Richie had started to acknowledge songwriting commissions from different craftsmen. He composed Woman with Kenny Rogers, which hit #1 of every 1980, and created Kenny Rogers' collection, Share Your Affection. The next year, Richie and Rogers kept up with a solid fellowship in later years. Likewise, in 1981, he sang the title signature melody for the film Perpetual Love, a two-part harmony with Diana Ross, gave as a solitary. The tune beat the Canadian, Brazilian, Australian, Japanese, and New Zealand and graphs, and furthermore, US popular music outlines, and became quite possibly of Motown's greatest hit. Its prosperity supported Lionel Richie to branch out into an undeniable performance vocation. In 1982, of every 1983, he was traded as lead vocalist for the Commodore by Skylar Stream. Lionel Richie 1982 presentation solo collection Lily Richie contained 3 hit singles. The US #1 melody Genuinely, which proceeded with the style of his ditties with the Commodore and sent off his profession as one of the best song of the 1980s, and the main 5 hits You Are and My Affection. The collection hit #3 on the music diagrams and sold north of 4 million duplicates. His 1983 subsequent collection, Can't Dial Back, sold over 2 times as many duplicates and won 2 Grammy grants, including Collection of the Year, driving him into the first position of Global Whizzes. The collection contained the main hit, The Entire Night, a Caribbean season dance that was advanced by a beautiful music video created by previous monkey Michael Nesmith in 1984. He played out the entire night at the closure function of the 23 Art Olympic Games in Los Angeles. A few additional Best 10 hits followed, the best of which was the Diddy High in 1984. It was a nostalgic love tune that showed how far he had moved from his R&B roots. Lionel Richie had 3 additional Best 10 hits in 1984, Stuck on You at #3, Running with the Night at #7, and Penny Darling at #8, as well as composing and delivering Missing You for the previous name Mate and a 2-part harmony Accomplice. Diana Ross at #10 popular music diagrams, and at #1 R&B music outlines. In 1985, he composed and performed Say You Express Me for the film White Evenings. The tune won a foundation grant and arrived at #1 on the US graphs, remaining there for a considerable length of time, making it the #2 tune of 1986, as per Bulletin's year-end Hot 100 graph, behind the foundation single, That Is What Companions Are Really Going After, Diane Warwick, and Companions. He additionally teamed up with Michael Jackson on the Cause single We Are the World by USA for Africa, one more #1 hit in 1986. He delivered Moving on the Roof, his last broadly well-known collection, which delivered a run of 5 US and UK hits. Say You Express Me at #1 in the US. Moving on the Roof at #2 in the US. Love Will Vanquish All at #9 in the US. Ballet Performer, Young Lady at #7 in the US, and Say Ah at #20 in the US. In 1992, he made his revisitation of recording and performing following the arrival of his most memorable and noteworthy hits assortment back to front. From that point forward, his perpetually loosened up plan has downplayed his recording and live work. He ended the quietness in 1996 with Stronger Than Words, on which he opposed any difference in style or melodic design jumping of the previous 10 years, staying rather with his picked way of very much created soul music, which in the mediating years has become known as contemporary R&B. Lionel Richie's collections in the last part of the 1990s, for example, were Stronger Than Words, and Time Neglected to match the business progress of his prior work. A portion of his new collections, like Renaissance and Only for You, have gotten back to his more established style and made progress in Europe, yet they were just unassumingly seen in the US. About Lionel Richie's home in 1999. Lionel Richie paid $6 million for a totally unimaginable 13,000-foot chateau in Beverly Slopes, the Manor, neglecting the 4th entire green at the well-known Los Angeles Nation Club. Today, this home is valued at $40 to $60 million. Basically, during the US Open in June 2023, he purportedly leased his home out for a corrupt sum that was revealed to be $1 million every week or $10 million for the month. Thank you for watching this video.